I'd like to welcome everyone to Steve Tees Off, brought to you by riversidegolf.ca. Ken Poirier and his team make this podcast possible. Shout out to them. But today we have a special guest in the studio, Tim Wilson. Welcome, Tim.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for
thank you for coming.
Yeah, awesome.
You have the illustrious designation of being from probably one of the most prestigious golf courses in the Lower Mainland.
Yeah.
One that I've only been able to grace the presence of, having like going to watch the way. Can I touch you?
Yeah, right. Right.
I actually the last time I was there, it was the watching the women play.
Yeah, fantastic.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, I had a big part in that event. And it was great. Yeah.
And I went. My son actually bought the tickets, which was a big deal because he never buys anything.
Right.
But we went, and probably one of the best experiences. I love going when I go to pro events, and obviously there was the Greater Vancouver Open, the Air Canada Championship here. But it's just a little aside. I love going to the driving range.
Yeah.
And we got to, on Saturday after the round, we went to the driving range and we watched Nelly, like just beating.
Yeah.
She was beating the shit out of her caddy.
Yeah.
And she had her coach on the iPad.
Right.
And it was just this banter. My son and I were the only ones standing there watching this, going, holy shit, like Jesus, this is serious.
Yeah.
Trying to figure it out. But it was awesome. It was awesome. But anyway, I digress, Tim. Let's start off talking about you. Okay.
Yeah.
Where you grew up.
I mean, it's
started.
I'm a kind of a little from everywhere, really.
Okay.
Was born in Grand Prairie, Alberta. Lived in Edmonton, Winnipeg. Really grew up in Toronto, just outside of Toronto and Markham. My dad worked for Imperial Oil, worked for Esso. He was young, out of college, and they sent him from Winnipeg up to Grand Prairie. He was there for a few months. I was born there.
You were born in Winnipeg?
I was born in Grand Prairie.
Oh, Grand Prairie.
Alberta.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And then we kind of lived around. Then we settled, and probably from the time I was about 5 or 6 until I was about 21 or so, 20, I guess, lived in Markham, and that's where I grew up. That's where golf kind of fell into my lap there. I mean,
when did you pick up the club the first time?
Yeah, my dad was a big golfer. My uncle was a club champ. My other uncle's a really good golfer. Golf, it was on that side of the family for sure. I can remember going, I think I remember going the first time with my dad, with his buddies, to a muni, waiting in the car in the dark. There's that little spindle that you put your golf ball in to decide the tee time. So I get out of the car, put that in there, drag his clubs around, hit a few shots while I was out there. And I think he kind of saw that I was into it. The very next year, he got me a membership at a little club called Whitevale, kind of in around Pickering, Ontario. And I played every day. I mean, it's a 6-month season in Ontario, but they would drop me off in the morning at 6 a.m. or whatever, and then just pick me up at night. I would just live out there. I ate all my meals out there. I think I still know the signing code, W107. We're not members there anymore. But I would run up the tab there. I'd play with everyone. It was a small club, didn't have a range. We had a shag range. So I didn't hit a lot of golf balls, but I chipped and putted like crazy, and I played a ton of golf. And within a couple of years, I'd gone from, barely scratching it around to kind of shooting in the 80s and cracking 70 by the time I was kind of like 14 or 15. And then it really started to come to me.
When did you play your first tournament? What age?
Probably around there, probably 15, when I had started to play with enough of the kids that were playing tournaments at the club. And I thought, well, maybe let's do this, and started to play interclubs and kind of got into it slowly, but then started to play some provincial events and really did well at my own club too. Kind of like, the little pond there was kind of nice for me to pick at. I won a few junior club championships, started playing in the men's club championship when I was 17 or 18, hung around some legends, some guys that had played a lot of tour golf and or amateur golf, I guess, at a high level. And really everyone started to rub off on me, and it was, I fell in love with it, and it was the only thing I ever really wanted to do.
So after you finished high school, where did you go?
Yeah, so high school, I kept getting better and better. I still consider myself a late bloomer everywhere. Maybe it just takes me a long time to sort of figure things out. But by the time I got good enough towards the end of high school, I was recruited a little bit, went down and visited some schools, and found a home at Concord College in West Virginia, which was a 10-hour drive that I could kind of hop in my car and get down there. And spent about a year and a half there at that school. Again, going back to my dad's story of kind of moving around, he was with SO long enough that they had given him an opportunity to kind of figure out where he wanted to retire and settle. And he was like, the West Coast would be a nice place to go.
It is.
So he found a job out here, or they had put him in a job out here. And I remember him coming to me and saying, hey, we're moving out to the West Coast. Obviously, if you want to keep going to school in West Virginia, we'll make it work. But if there's a way we can figure to get you in a school over there, maybe that's going to work a bit better. And I said one better. I said, I think I want to start playing. Like, I really want to start doing this. Whether I work at a golf course somewhere out there and kind of figure it out, that was my next avenue. I had a really good, quick college career. Won a couple tournaments. Won one of our big events as a freshman. And again, it started to kind of show me that I was kind of good enough, and I wanted to test this thing a little bit.
So when you came out here, where did you settle? Where was your father? Where was your family?
Yeah, we moved out. So we had no idea about BC. We moved out and saw Bridges on the map, and we're like, oh, whatever. He was working in Burnaby, and we had a place in Westwood Plateau.
Okay.
So we're up there, and I ended up going to school and kind of picking up some classes at Kwantlen College. In Surrey, right? Yeah. And you don't know the bridges, and coming from Ontario, everything's pretty quick on the highways. But started going there, played for the golf team there for a year or so again. And then my first kind of job was at Carnoustie in Poco, a little club out there. Great community, great people. They let me play with all the members and kind of still keep the game rolling a little bit. And then the first pro gig was, for me, I turned golf professional. Joined the PGA of Canada in 2002, and got a job at Kulchena in Richmond. And that was great. I mean, that was really, really cool.
So did you? And I always ask this question.
Yeah.
When you make because golf it's such a meritocracy, man. Like, you got if you want to earn your living playing as a professional.
Yeah.
It's every year since I've been around, it just gets tighter and tighter.
For sure.
And tighter and tighter and tighter.
Yeah.
Did you ever, I would imagine you had aspirations at some point where you're saying, listen, man, did you ever chase that?
I did. Yeah. So I waited a few years. I worked for a couple of years at Quill. And then in 2004 or 5, took a shot at joining the Canadian Tour. They had a spring qualifier out at Belmont in Langley.
Yep.
Jumped on that, played well enough to get status on the Canadian Tour, and ran and played the Canadian Tour 8 or 9 events until I got injured in Montreal, which was one of the last events there. Did my wrist in. We played this incredibly tough golf course, some French name that I would butcher if I tried to say it. But hit it in the rough, tried to punch out. My wrist made a little pop, tried to play through it, and that was really the end of it for a stint anyways. It was towards the end of the season. I missed out on the last few, but I had made a couple cuts along the way. Mm-hmm. I would say that I was more talented than I worked hard.
Yeah.
Like me now, I'd love to go back and
Yes.
knock that guy in the head and be like, you should work harder at this because you've got something here, but it's the way it goes.
It's funny because we were just having this conversation, my wife and I, this morning, about I read an article that said that baseball in the province of British Columbia, registration is up something like 30%.
Oh.
And it has everything to do with the Blue Jays making the run.
Yeah, right.
Okay. And I made the comment, I grew up in Manitoba.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I grew up playing hardball, golfing, and was just fortunate enough that I could ride my bike to the golf course.
Yeah.
You talk about still remembering things. I can remember the combination to my locker.
Right.
Okay. From when I was 10, 11 years
Every
old.
day.
Exactly.
Right.
It was in my head.
Yeah.
But a lot of baseball, and I think about baseball, the Blue Jays weren't really in the league, and I'm old enough that they weren't.
Yeah.
But we played ball because we loved to play ball.
Right.
And I golfed because I loved to golf. I hated practicing.
Yeah.
And you talk about shag. We never had a driving range.
Yeah.
So we used to shag our own balls.
Yeah.
Myself and another friend, we'd have our own shag bag.
Yep.
Started off with an Adidas bag to begin with.
Right.
Hit our own ball. When the sun was coming down on the first hole, that's how we would hit balls. We didn't have a driving range.
Yeah.
But we played because we loved it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And practice was like, you know what? There's only so much time I want to spend on the putting green.
Yeah.
I want to play.
Yeah.
I want to play. I want to play.
Yeah.
And that is, I'm not suggesting that's the reason I am where I am, but you gotta really practice, and you have to really, and
it's all the things, you know, like
it's
you know, you see it's so easy now because these guys, at the highest level, you're just surrounding yourself with a really good team that is kind of inspiring that, and everyone's, you know, there for their job. But when I was younger, I just, you know, I was, first of all, I was out of shape. I was like 100 pounds heavier. I was just a really good player. I just had figured out how to play the golf and not really ever work on my swing, just keep grinding and doing all the, you know, the little practice that I did, but I just really loved playing the game. Yeah, it's so tough now. I mean, I think my score when I got in was 6 under for the week. That got me conditional or almost full status. Mm-hmm. And the same position now is in a week, wherever they're doing their qualifying, is like 20 something under. Like these guys are just so good. It's so good.
It is. Yeah. It's sick. And when you, and I know it's not my imagination when I watch golf,
mm-hmm.
How often they chip in, like
yeah.
they hole out from the bunker, like like, you know, a hole in one is now common,
right.
And around where it was like, how good are you?
Yeah.
I mean that, like, you know, and how good do you have to be?
I think that's the shocking thing is when you get to any professional tour, you look around and there's really no differentiators between the ability to score. So you kind of go like, wait a minute, these guys are all really good every day. How am I going to do this out here? Really, like, it instills a lot of questions and kind of go, how am I going to do this?
Then you see the players, and you see some train wrecks, you know,
sure.
Like that's, and golf is like, it's like that. It's like going to F1 or whatever. You're going there for the accident.
Yeah.
You want it, people, they want to see that,
and
go, that guy just pumped 3 into the water.
Right. He's like me. He's like me. Good. He's normal. I'm normal.
What happened?
I know. I remind my juniors, young players especially that have, you know, aspirations of being tour players. I remind them that it's not something that once you have it, you're just going to be great forever. You know, go and look at a leaderboard on a Friday, a PGA Tour leaderboard on a Friday. Go all the way down to the bottom and have a look at some names that you know are fantastic players, and they shoot 78, 82, trunk slam, have a nice day, and you're like, all they're doing is working on their game as best they can all the time.
Yeah.
So like, you know, the average weekend warrior that has a bad round and shoots 5 or 6 higher than they did the week before, and they're not working at it. Like the players are working so hard and they're failing, and it's such a game that just like kicks you constantly. Well, that's the trick. You know?
I just, you know, and it's so, and I say the reason I love it, because there's not a sport like that where you can not watch and you can go and do something,
mm-hmm.
and you come back 2 hours later,
and
you go, okay, he had it in the bag,
right?
What happened?
Yeah.
But that's always been there, because I can, you know, as a kid, I can always remember, it was God, why can't I remember his name? Australian, that we was the first commissioner of the live turn.
Oh, Greg Norman.
Greg Norman, when he melted down in the Masters.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
oh yeah,
I remember watching that,
it.
And Nick Faldo going, like, my God, like I just want to help you.
Right.
Just like, I want to carry you.
Yeah, turn from like, I'm going to charge down and like win this tournament, beat you, to like, I feel so bad that this is happening to you. It was a somber jacket presentation. I'm sure Nick was like, oh, whatever.
Whatever. That's right. And I can, Van de Velde in the British Open.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
What, you know, everybody around the world screaming at the TV, what are you doing?
Why are you in the water?
Why are you in the water?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
You know? What are you doing?
You can do it again. Like what's, like, are you not?
And his poor caddy just with
what are you,
deer in the headlights, just like, what am I supposed to say to this guy? He wants a 2 iron. I don't know. He's going to hit it out of the rough. I guess that's the right play.
And you know, and but that's the beauty of it. It really is, because it's such a humbling game.
Yeah.
I still have no, you know, you talk about a shank. How is that even possible?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean that.
Oh,
How are you able to hit the ball so poorly?
Yeah.
And then you sit there and beat yourself up and go, okay, what did I do?
Yeah.
What I can't do that again. What did I do? I hate that.
I think it's a disservice from the guys who invented this game. You know, the tiny weird equipment that we have to hit it with, and a hosel sitting right there, so close to the center. I mean,
How does that happen? What did I do that was so horribly different than from before?
Yeah.
But that's that's primarily one of the reasons I do this, is because it's so humbling.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, Tim, at my where I'm at now in my life, I know that I've done it so often that I know that if I practice at something, let's just use putting.
Yeah.
And if I did that on carpet over the winter with a beta cam over and over and over again, I'd get better.
Sure.
I'd shave
it's reps.
7, 8, 9, 10 strokes off of a round.
Yeah.
But I don't do it. I just, I don't.
Right.
And, I put a putting green in my backyard.
Yeah.
Like a real putting green.
Yeah. Awesome.
Just, it's like insanity.
Yeah.
And then you find out everything that can go wrong with grass.
Right.
You become best friends with the greenskeeper at Northview.
That's right. Yeah.
And you have a dog and you're putting carcinogenic material on you, and you got kids and just the but you're allowed a couple of stupid things.
Yeah.
But I did get better, at what price though?
Right.
But it is a game like that.
It's so much reps to get to a point where it's kind of reflexive, like walking, right?
Yeah.
The best players in the world, when they're playing their best in these big moments, they have zero swing thoughts. They're not thinking about what they've been working on. It's literally just, this is the shot I want. This is where it's going. This is the distance it's going, and let's just let it take over, right?
And the thing is that the other thing too is you don't stop learning.
Right.
You never stop learning.
Oh, I say that all the time, even as a coach. I was terrible when I was younger at teaching golf because I just was good at it. So, and I didn't understand how people didn't understand what I was saying. But I literally learn every day, and I'm constantly sort of searching for what else is out there because it's so well shared now. There's so much information.
Almost too much.
Yeah, a lot for the players too. So they are really empowered with a lot of information. They're showing up with hours of YouTube in their brain of everything they've seen and what they should be working on and how they should be holding it and how they should be moving. And I'm guilty of that too. I post a lot on social media. Yeah. But because they're so knowledgeable of what's going on out there, it's even more important as a coach to kind of like, let's trim this down and let's focus on the basics here. Let's master the things that we can really kind of change and control, not try to like add all these little things into your game or these ideas that are going to change on a daily basis.
So I'll ask you this question.
Yeah.
Myself personally, I've always been an individual that if I want to get good at something, I watch someone that's good and then I try and emulate them.
Yeah.
Not actually understanding that they may have a different setup than me, a different grip,
sure,
whatever it might be. Yeah. I've never, I'm the guy that buys the barbecue and looks at the picture to assemble it. Gotcha. I don't follow the instructions.
Right.
I watch someone who's doing it really well, and then I try and emulate them.
Yeah.
So that's really hard to, like, I'm not going to say it's the reason I have the grip that I have now, which is it's probably a shitty grip. It is, but it works for me.
Right.
Okay. And it all relies 100% on timing. If my timing's off,
right,
it's bad.
Yeah.
But I know what I know.
Yeah.
And so I want to ask you this question, Tim, and your students, especially when you're dealing with young students and you've got so much content and information out there, when these kids come to you for lessons and how many of them are, I'll say like an individual like myself who looks at somebody that's good and wants to emulate some tour player's swing, or they actually break it down technically, and and because it's two different approaches.
For sure. Yeah.
Talk a little bit.
Yeah. So, it comes a lot like what you're kind of saying there to learning style and kind of understanding how a player really learns. When I first meet a player, regardless of who they are, their age, I'm trying to really figure out how I get that information through to them. So I'm testing them constantly, whether it's by just kind of verbal cues, whether I'm demonstrating, whether I'm kind of like physically putting them in positions, whether I hit some shots so they can kind of watch and see. And you can kind of tell what they gravitate to and how quickly they will pick up on something. from one style to the other. I've lots of players where I show them videos and it never registers, or I tell them something and it never registers, and vice versa. You tell someone one thing and immediately they're like, oh, that clicks, or they see it and that clicks. So it's a little bit of like figuring out how that player is going to learn, and then trying to trim it down to like what the reality is I think everyone wants to play better. They want to score better. That leads back to having control over the golf ball, hitting it in the center of the club face. So stripping things away to get to that. If you give the player an option to say, can you do this? Can you hit the center of the face? Can you make the ball go this way? Can you make it go higher? Can you do all these things? How you're doing it, it's probably not that far off of how you're probably always going to do it and gravitate to it. So we're going to nurture that a little bit more, rather than saying, here's the blueprint. This is the way you're supposed to do this. And them not being able to create the shot pattern or shot shape or whatever that they are trying to do. You got to let them kind of find a little bit. I really believe that everyone's got a version of their own swing kind of in them, and they're going to play and move their best and free when that's the base of their model versus, to be honest, I thought everyone was going to swing by like Tiger Woods or Adam Scott by now, right? Like that was the swing. That was the way everyone was going to swing. I look at the top 10 players on the PGA Tour, and they couldn't be more different. You got Scheffler dancing around.
Oh my God.
Goddard up you can't even teach that.
Yeah.
Rory's from inside up, and Ludwig's amazing. Like, so you've got all these incredible players moving a club a million different ways. And I think all it does is just, instill the belief that they have their own thing, but the common denominator is they know where the center of the face is, and they know where that golf ball's going most of the time.
Mm-hmm. More than not.
Right. At that level, yes. Yeah.
And the thing is that I was, and I go back, and I wish there was still a tour, like a PGA Tour event here. I really do.
Yeah.
Because I was so fortunate for so many years, because I did live almost across the street from Northview.
Oh yeah.
And was able to go out and take time out and watch watch players play. Mm-hmm. And you see the idiosyncrasy in their like you could watch Brad Faxon play 18 holes and miss every single fairway and shoot even par.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And you're like, oh, wait a minute.
Shit.
That's one way to do it.
That's one way to do it. Yeah. Like you missed every fairway, but you were up and down all the time.
Yeah.
You deadly with the putter.
Yeah.
Like who makes, you're standing over a 20-foot putt in your center.
Right.
And you go, wow.
Yeah.
Like Jesus.
Yeah.
But
that guy must have sucked at approaching greens forever and just figured out that he needed to make every putt he looked at.
And that it's frightening.
Yeah. I played his golf course in Rhode Island, and it's big slopey greens, and you're like, oh, get it. Like hard to get it on the right level of the flag. Got to be a great lag putter. Got to make the little ones because you're trying to scramble and get up and down. I mean, there's a million different ways to do it, right?
There is to get around the golf course, and the other thing is that this is when, and this goes way back when John Daly was the shit.
Yeah,
and he was having the heebie-jeebies, withdrawing, and I got to watch him play around with Corey Pavin and I think it was David Frost.
Yeah.
And he hit the ball so much further than they did.
Oh, it's insane.
It was insane.
Yeah.
But it was like watching him play was sick. Mm-hmm. And then Corey Pavin, who was just probably the most anal retentive player you ever saw, who had to have the tee blocks between his legs and nobody could be in his peripheral vision when he hit the ball. Yeah. And he'd hit the ball 70 yards shorter than everyone.
Mm-hmm. But just tactically moves around the golf. Totally different.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and you go, oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Can you even draw the ball?
Yeah.
And that's the thing is that when you get that thing it's repeatable, repeatable, you can continue to do it. And you know what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And one of my, I'm still shocked by the ability to read a green. Mm-hmm. It really is like, how do you figure that out? And I'll ask this. Okay, you're the majority of the teaching that you're doing right now. Is it with junior players or is it with adults? Like what's the mix?
It's a big mix, to be honest. I've got a lot of competitive junior players. I work with a ton of club players. They have aspirations of playing other events and tournaments as well. So I kind of have a good mix of everyone. So it's really interesting and neat for me because Some of it is brand new information when I'm dealing with like a junior player or a new player to the game. And some of it is a little redundant, but it has to be said to kind of keep that player, thinking about the right things and not diverting too much away from it. And then trying to get it again, like, let's make it simple enough that you can mix this into your process when you're out there, that it's not just like, yeah, and it's gone, that this is part of the way that we're figuring out to get our way around the golf course. And it's part of that procedure.
How many, so what I was getting to too is putting, is around the green.
Yeah.
How do you approach that when you're teaching? Because I've, I'll say this honestly, like the last lessons I took was when I was probably 10, 11, 12 years old.
Yeah.
And I'll say this because I know Matt Paulsenberg fairly well now, and Matt's hilarious because
he is hilarious. He thinks he's very hilarious.
And, he's never one to shy away from when he sees something
I love Matty.
Yeah. But, I look and I go, okay, when I look at my short game or the green, I don't even know what I'm doing. Like, I really don't. I'm more like a feel guy.
Yeah.
Like, I really am. Like, well, this looks like, so that aim point and all that other kind of garbage. Like, I shouldn't say garbage.
Yeah, it can help.
I'm like a guy that goes, okay, this is, and I'll say this, that I feel like I'm right a little bit more than I'm wrong.
Right.
Which isn't probably very good.
Yeah.
Okay. But how do you approach teaching somebody around the green?
Yeah. Yeah. So one, I think setup is wildly important. So it's a place in the game where we're trying to not create too many accelerators. We're not trying to move around, trying to stay really steady. So creating a setup, I've worked a little bit in the past with Gareth Raflewski and Ralph Bauer, two really good short game putting coaches. They work with PGA Tour players and LPGA players. And when I start to kind of steal some of the notes from Phil Kenyon and some of the other guys there, it all lines up. The setup of where your eyes are, where your body is, to be in the same position over and over again helps us repeat that kind of simple act of kind of moving the putter back and forth. So I think setup is wildly important. You have to have a really good setup. I've seen terrible setups in good putters and it doesn't usually last, or they have streaky moments, but I've seen all these great setups and it usually it holds steady. The next part of it is I treat putting like a little schizophrenic, like two people. So I want one player to line up the golf ball, to just get behind, even if you don't use a line on your ball, just to get behind it, to see the line and believe that that's the correct line. I think when we get behind the ball and down closer to the ground, you see the topography a little bit better. You have a better sense of what's going. I think if we all just had like a baseball in our hand, we had to roll it out there, we'd probably be okay. Mm-hmm. But then you stand over it, and that's when the, psychoanalytics go on, and you start to doubt yourself, and you aim a little bit more left, and you aim a bit more right because the slope is telling you something different in your feet, or your eyes are looking different. Believe the first player that's behind that set it up for you. Once that's set up, now you get over it and just deal with the pace. And if there's something that doesn't coordinate or look right, just go back into that setup again. But if you can strip it away to like, this player behind me is going to line it up. Now I set up and I just hit it where that is, almost like playing in a scramble where you just keep pointing the guy like, no, right there, and let's hit it. Believe it and hit it. You're going to make more confident strokes. You're going to roll the ball a little bit better. The doubt is what wavers the putter. I think more than anything else is a player will think wrong about the slope and then add it, or now it's uphill. No, it's uphill and smash it up the hill, or no, it's downhill and leave it way short. Just getting it into like two phases, I think, can be really, really easy to start to make more putts.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you this, back to Shaughnessy.
Yeah.
That was the first time that I played sim golf was I played that course.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And took like, I think a 22 on the first hole.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason was because I couldn't, and that was one where Matt was watching me.
Right.
And like, approach was great, but finally he had to come up to me and go, look, just hit the ball right here on the screen.
Yeah.
Quit trying to, because that the hardest part was with sim is the feel around the green, like to understand that. Like it is such.
It's a unique skill.
It is.
I play a lot of sim golf. I go to the House of Golf through in the off season, play in kind of their league. My son and my cousin-in-laws, the four of us go there, and it's a blast. And I'd played it, years before. a lot of sim golf, and I thought, wow, I'm playing incredible on sim. I'm going to be so good when I get back into spring golf. It doesn't really
work.
translate.
No.
It's a different skill set. You're kind of playing the speeds of the golf ball, and it's all kind of a numbers game. It's a flat lie. There's no changing conditions, so it's a different skill set. It's a good one, and it definitely helps you coordinate that, but it's not going to improve your short game.
Yeah, and that is what the fun part of sim golf, and I've said this many times, is you bring a friend that's never done it, and then you can kick their ass,
right?
Right, and you just it's kind of fun, sitting back, going,
it is really fun
because you can't explain it. You just got to do it.
You have to do it.
Yeah.
Because people will see it and they go, that's whatever.
Yeah.
But it's a blast. It really is.
It is fun.
Yeah.
It is fun.
Yeah.
So back to, how long have you been at Shaughnessy for?
Since 2017. So we're coming up on a few years.
A few
9 years. Yeah.
9 years.
Yeah.
That golf course, how old is that golf course?
It's moved around a little bit. So 1911 is where we is the number that we sort of fly. That was the inception of the golf course, but it was on the original land of Van Dusen Gardens. So it was there. Something about the railway where they traded some land and moved it onto the property it is right now in the 80s, I want to say. Maybe 60s. I'm gonna butcher that, but whatever.
That's all right.
It doesn't matter. But it moved to that property, and it's been there since. And they've hosted a few Canadian Opens along the way. The most recent ones would be 2005, 2011, and then CPKC was 2023. So some big championships at the course for sure.
And the plan, eventually it's moving. Is that correct, or am I wrong in saying?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, it's all speculation as far as I know. We've got a committee at Shaughnessy that's working with the Musqueam band. Wayne Sparrow, I know him really well. He's a huge fan of the golf course and the property, and loves the place and loves what it is for the community. And really, Shaughnessy is that place. If we ever get to host another Canadian Open on the West Coast, there aren't many venues out here that could handle it. Golf course, infrastructure, etc. There's great golf courses in BC, but you can't have it up in the interior. You can't really put it at some of these places. So I think just that alone, the place has got to stay. It really.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
I do not disagree.
Yeah, I love the place.
And let's get back to when you made the decision that you were going to teach.
Yeah.
I'm always interested in when you're a high caliber player.
Yeah.
Okay. Which evidently, obviously you are. You are still.
Yeah, I'd say we're more than are, but yeah.
But
sure.
that's
yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But when you make that decision, when that light bulb goes on, that you say, listen, you know what, I feel that I explain that when that happened, and if there was a moment that you said, okay, I'm probably better off teaching. You can chase, like there's other, like I'll say that, like the best player, I agree, the best place in Canada to be if you're a golfer is the Lower Mainland of British Columbia.
Yeah.
It's not a comparison.
It's not
a comparison.
Yeah.
But you make the decision to stay here as opposed to chasing whatever rainbow it is down in the U.S. And there's not you could say, well, you could be doing the same thing in Palm Springs or whatever.
Yeah.
But when did that moment occur for you?
It was a kind of a combination of things. My playing career had come to an end by 2005. I'd gone down to the Hooters tour in Florida and chased that money for a little bit and played a few events.
The Hooters tour,
the NGA Hooters tour. So when you won, it was chicken wings and Hooters girls with a paycheck. Camilo Villegas actually ran that tour the year before he had set 1 million course records on every course in Florida down there before he had jumped up to the PGA Tour. But I went down there, played with a lot of retired NFL guys that you basically at that tour you pay 20 grand or whatever, and you get into all these events and you don't have to qualify, you're just in. So I could remember playing with a guy down there who had like half a backswing, and I thought he was just warming up, but that was his whole swing. And he shot 100 and something. And he was a lovely guy, really nice guy, huge guy with just smoked a cigar the whole way around. And I'm like, okay, maybe this isn't the tour that I thought it was. It was a bit of a cash grab. So I kind of came back with my tail between my legs a little bit. But also my son, Jack, Jack Nicholas Wilson, was born July 15th, 2005. That's the same day that Nicholas was walking over the Swilcombe Bridge for the last time in the British. So all of a sudden I was, I had another life that I had to look after, and I really was home at that point. I wasn't going to go on the road. I wasn't going to travel. I had tournaments that I could play here. I was working at Colchina, and I had a great mentor there, Doug Mahovlik, and he was slow to let me start teaching lessons. He knew that I was antsy for it, but he mentored me a little bit, kind of helped me into the teaching world, gave me the junior program to sort of look after, and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with being able to sort of watch someone go from, call it nothing, to something right away, and the spark that I kind of had when I was younger too, that this is hard and I just did it and this is great. And that I started giving that to people, and it became infectious.
And so, and the rest is just...
Yeah. And I then kind of went to, after Cool, I went to Morgan Creek, and I was there for 9 years.
With Wayne Vollmer?
With Wayne Vollmer. And Wayne was another great mentor of mine, and kind of showed me what like a golf pro could really be as an ambassador of the game, as a player, as a person, a facilitator of fun. Like, he really made it enjoyable every day. He was, anyone that came, whether he knew their name or not, he greeted them with a huge smile, always had time for them. And I remember sitting in his office and going, I'm teaching lots of lessons right now with a young pro. I'm working in the shop. I'm teaching lots of lessons. I kind of want to do this more. And he goes, okay, why don't you take one more day to teach? And I, a couple weeks later, or a year later or whatever, I'm like, I think I want another day. I think I want another day. And then eventually it got to the point where I was just running the teaching program there. And, really I kind of burned myself out because I just had the whole day to teach. So I just took it, and I was teaching all day long.
I have a good Wayne Vollmer story the fact that when I came out here from Winnipeg, and I was in Westminster, and they were building this course, and I remember they put the trailer up, and I went and I introduced myself, and we did a tourism book in New Westminster, and we did it in this glossy thing, and I had to convince Wayne to buy the back page of it, and he did. And I remember sitting in his office after they finally finished the clubhouse, and I see this picture of him with Butch Harmon, and I go, how do you know Butch Harmon? Well, I went to school with him, and this is like Tiger Woods.
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Really.
ASU Hall of Fame.
Yeah. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Right?
No, seriously.
Yeah.
And then,
I
Wayne
looked up to
could,
him too. Yeah.
and he could pound the ball too.
Absolutely.
He could hit the ball a ton.
Yeah.
Like, and
he did all the way up until, he had some hip and back issues, sciatica, and he would still go out there and try to hammer the golf ball and kind of go to one knee a little bit, but such a good player.
Yeah.
Like such a good player.
Yeah. And that was, but I remember sitting there seeing this picture.
Yeah.
And okay, well, it's no big deal to him.
Right.
Like, you want to talk to him?
Yeah.
Or you want, like,
Yeah, right.
love to, but probably you would, but the thing is that there's a lot of that when you, like, any players, like in your career, when you've played, there's a couple of directions I'm going to go with this. The first one is, what players did you interact with that became rather prominent in the game, that there were like, holy shit moments where you went, Jesus, this guy can't even figure out how to pull his pants up, but he's like phenomenal.
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple. So I grew up playing junior golf, and the inter clubs that we played, I played with Derek Gillespie, was one of them. And, oh man, I'm going to forget the other name. But anyways, there was a few like really good young junior players that made it up to the highest level. When I was at Morgan Creek, I worked with Jerry Hadwin, and his son Adam was going to school at Louisville, came up for the summers and would practice on the range. And we started hanging out a little bit and watching this kid hit golf balls. We'd go out and play. I still had a bit of a game at the time, but I could tell he was just different. We'd go out and play for some money. I'd egg him on. And by the time we got to the back nine, he would just dust me. Like, he was just so good. He's so good. I beat him in a putting contest once or twice. I made him sign like a $5 bill for me because I'm like, something's happening.
Something's happening. Yeah.
So watching him kind of develop and grow, and seeing, like, you know, he was a young guy. He was an aggressive player. He was an emotional player, and then for him to really get his opportunity at the 2011 Canadian Open, take it, and then just run with it and have so much success after that, and still being so successful for such a long time on such a tough tour to make it. Really proud of that guy for sure. It's really, really cool to see.
Yeah. It's interesting because I've been out here since 1994 and been back and forth to Winnipeg a couple of times. And I never, and until I started doing this, I never realized the golf community around me.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't, I was in the newspaper business. I remember when these golf courses were built. I remember, but I was oblivious to everything that was going on around me.
Right.
And now everything's being almost like pieced together for me, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Because you start looking at things from a different perspective and going, geez, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember Phil Jonas.
Phil Jonas.
Okay.
Yeah. Phil Jonas.
And I remember, I think I played with him at the Vancouver Club, and I didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
Really didn't know.
Yeah. Iconic. So one of my kind of success stories was the Vancouver Open, VGT. So the Vancouver Open first event, first inaugural one at Northview. And I was tied, tied for the lead at the end of the tournament, with Phil Jonas and a guy named Jay Ballack. And, I had already come off playing tour golf, and the prize was a paid entry to go for Q school.
Okay.
And Phil was not going to play Q school either. So Phil comes over to me, South Africa.
Yes.
Pats me on the back and he goes, "Congrats. Let's go tell Jay that he won." We'll take the second, third place money. He goes, "You're not going back out there. I'm not going back out there. Let's go tell," because he was, Jay was all.
Yeah.
So we went over there. Jay, we're not going to playoff. It was dark out. They were going to put car lights on 18 or something like that. We're like, he comes over. Yeah, let's go tell him. Let's go tell him that he won. So we go over, congratulate him, sit down, and they're like, "Okay, well, I guess we'll cut you guys your check." It's great. It was awesome. So unofficially the second place, but yeah.
And
that
that's
was cool.
That's the thing, though. There was like growing up in Manitoba. There was I can't remember, at Clear Lake. There used to be a tournament that would go on, and the same guys would be in it all the time. And I used to go and play it.
Yeah.
And I was like, tournament golf for me when I was young, it was a horrendous experience. It really was. And I say this with all the honesty in the world. Emotions just make you crazy, and when you have other people around that damn well what they're thinking, and they want, especially when you're dealing at that junior level, when others and I know you appreciate this, it's like people, you can feel that desire, that wanton desire for them. They want you to fail if they're not your parent,
for sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I believe that it's probably it's even worse than it used to be, because of the competitiveness. Like it really is.
It's crazy. Yeah.
It's crazy, and it's a game too. The other thing too is that golf, unlike any other sport, you can't cheat. You can,
but you get caught.
You're gonna get caught.
You're gonna get caught, or it's not going to work out.
It's not gonna work out.
Everyone always gets caught.
Exactly. Where other sports, you cheat.
You try to cheat.
You try to cheat.
Yeah,
you try and get away. Exactly. It's encouraged.
Yeah. My son's girlfriend is a college soccer player, and she was playing striker, and I said, "When you get in the box, like, are you like softer? Like, are you getting knocked down?" She goes, "Well, if we get a penalty out of it, then of course." I'm like, "That's
of course."
It's not. And she's a very honest person, but that's encouraged in that sport. I mean, it's really an advantage if you can just take a little time. But yeah, golf, you just can't. Obviously, we've all had experiences with players that have, and
I have. And my youngest daughter is she played a fastball up at SFU, and she pitched, and when I was, very, I'm not going to say trying to live vicariously through, but trying to make her better.
Yeah.
And occasionally I get in the box, and her pitching coach was Kelly Zelstra, who played on the Olympic team at Seoul, and great lady. And Megan used to throw the ball at me when she would be mad. Like, she hit me in the hips. Like, I mean, like,
Right.
God, drop me.
Yeah.
Like, just drop me.
Yeah.
And she's, well, why are you mad at me? Because that's where I'm supposed to pitch. I want to get you off the plate.
Right.
You're too tight.
Right.
I'm
Back
trying
up.
to
Back
set
up.
you up. Well, that's like me being out in the golf course and trying to hit the person in front of me.
Right.
No.
No.
Like, but
Yeah.
the thing is, that's the game.
Yeah.
And so it is a sport where you have to turn everything else off.
Yeah.
And what's interesting now is that her boyfriend is a professional lacrosse player. Okay. And he's like avid golfer. So
Yeah.
she's getting back into golf.
Yeah.
And I can't do anything with, like, it's like, I just say, like I say to Connor, good luck with that.
Right.
You can, I'm not going anywhere I'm not going to go to the driving range with you anymore,
it
because
doesn't work.
it doesn't work,
Yeah.
and you're not going to listen to me anyway.
No.
And I'm probably a shitty teacher. Like, I don't know what I'm talking about,
Right.
but you're just not going to listen to me.
Yeah.
But speaking of kids,
Yes.
how many kids have you got?
Yeah, so I've got two of my own and a stepson. So I've
Okay.
my son Jack, my daughter Charlie, she's 17, and my stepson Luke is 21. So we've got kind of older kids growing up.
Are they all golfers, or?
Yes. Well, Charlie's not. She was when she was younger. They were all in sports when they were younger. Luke was a baseball player. Jack and Charlie were both hockey players. They got into ball hockey first, and then they played hockey. And Jack was a very good hockey player. He towers over me. He's like 6'6" or 7" or something. Now he's so tall. He's a very good golfer now. He was really good when he was younger, so he's really into it. And him and I have a really incredible relationship as far as, dad, son, golfer, coach. He really just is like a sponge. And anything I say, he takes it with a grain of salt, but then his ears are open. So he's a very good student of the game. I want to get my daughter into it. I want to get her playing a little bit more. She had kind of abstained from it for a little bit, but I think she got a boyfriend now.
Yeah.
He likes golf. So then that's how it works.
That's
right?
how it works.
Yeah.
Exactly. And there's nothing wrong with that, actually.
No, not at all.
Not a damn thing.
I want it to come from that way. If I had to force it into her, she would never. So,
well, it's interesting. I've been watching from afar the game, and how I always play, and I say this, I play as a single most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it used to be where you're as a single and you go, oh my God, there's a woman come, or a couple. Not like that anymore.
no,
It's not.
no, it's totally different.
It's totally different.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's great.
It is.
It really is.
And
you can see it too, like at Shaughnessy, which is kind of got this old stigma of like, this very cliquey, and you're going to play with. COVID was the big shakeup, where I was like, hey, tee times are tee times. If you want to play, we have tee times from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and you're just going to get whatever with whoever. If you have a foursome, great. If you're a single, you're going to play with anyone. So it really got everyone to just play with everyone and be sort of way more open to it. Even, some of the old boys that may not love being out there with whoever is joining their group, even they probably were like, it's kind of nice not to play with these same old crotchety guys every single week. And
and that's the thing. That's the thing is what I find very interesting about the game of golf too is and my son, one of my sons, he belongs to Beach Grove, and he's and it's good for his business for doing, and he played hockey, and he's getting better at the golf thing, but and I don't know what kind of joy you can get out of playing with the same people over and over and over again.
it doesn't look fun.
It doesn't look fun at all.
It doesn't.
And it's not, and it's especially not fun when you're behind those people too.
Right. Yeah.
Like, what are you guys playing, the Ryder Cup today?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what is it? Like,
Yeah.
and I'm a guy that, like, not only do I dislike practice, 4.5 hours is a long time for me to be out there.
Yeah.
Okay. And I want to, and I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I love the birds tweeting and the sun, and I love all that.
Yeah.
But when you start cramping in on me on the 5-hour line, I'm starting to go, you know what, guys, something's going on here, and I'm not liking it.
Yeah.
And pace of play for me it's a big thing, because the level that I have to, but and then you start letting that stuff get into your head.
Yeah.
That's what's interesting about tournament golf, like professional tournament golf, is the amount of waiting. Because when you watch on TV, you don't see that amount of waiting. And when somebody hits a shitty shot and they're waiting for a ruling from a rules official.
Oh my gosh. So I had events I can remember one in Winnipeg. We were playing Pine Ridge. Beautiful golf course. Yeah. Like that 9th hole, the par 3 up the hill. Anyways, we're playing there in the middle of summer. The mosquitoes are like sparrows dive bombing us. And it's 5.5 hours. So I'm also, not the big draw on the Canadian tour. So my draw is like 2:30 in the afternoon and 7 a.m. or something, right? Like that's my flip window. So I'm out in the middle of the golf course. It's 5.5 hours minimum out there. It's muggy. It's hot. We're getting attacked by bugs. And I met a guy out there. I wish I remember his name, but he was flipping through this book and he was looking around. He's just looking at everything. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing? And I kind of go over his shoulder and I look, and he's looking at a bird book. It's like an aviary book. He's looking at birds. He's like checking off birds. And I'm like, what is he doing? And he's like, you got to figure out a way to kill time out here or you go nuts.
Yeah.
So since like the next stop into Edmonton, I think I stopped at a gas station and I saw an arborist book on trees and I was like, here we go. I'm getting it. So I started to like, wow, that's a sequoia. Holy, that's a deciduous. I know that one. Like that. Yeah. So I started to like kill time out there because I think that tournament golf or just playing golf, at the end of it, I'm more like mentally tired. If I'm practicing a lot, I'll get like physically tired, but I don't get physically tired from playing rounds of golf. But the mental exhaustion made you feel physically tired.
There's nothing, and I will say this, that there is until you've experienced mental exhaustion, you have no idea what physical you can deal with.
Sure, you can. You can pick yourself up. You can
whatever.
Be caffeinated or something.
When you're mentally exhausted, you just
shut down.
Yeah. And to see and when I talk about when my son was playing, still coming up the junior ranks, one of his coaches that he was his skating coach, and his name was Ron Johnson. And Ron used to work with NHL players, and he would get them to the point where they couldn't even do a simple drill.
Right.
They were just so emotionally exhausted, mentally exhausted.
Yeah.
They couldn't do just a basic thing and get to that level because that's where you need to be.
Yeah, you need to push that.
You need to push that. You need to be able to overcome that.
That's right.
And in any other sport, you always have the fans. They're not necessarily at risk of getting hit in the head.
Right.
Or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like seriously.
Yeah.
And golf is that game where you get smoked in the back of the head. There's a lot of things that can happen on the golf course.
Yeah.
That club head snap, whatever it happens to be. So you got to be paying attention all the time.
Yeah.
And I personally, I've never, like, I don't hear, and this is the other thing, I'll say, I don't hear for a lot in the golf course anymore.
Yeah.
Is that my imagination?
No, you're probably right. I mean, I think it's one of those things where like someone hits one sideways now and they all look at each other and they're like, boy, that looks like it's going for those people. And then it's like 4, heads up, everyone.
Yeah.
It
used to be right off the club head.
Yeah.
You were immediately hollering.
Yeah.
And
also, I think people hit it too far. We got to roll that ball back so they can't see it. They can't see where it's going. I'm just kidding. They're just smashing it and they have no idea where it's going and whatever. But yeah, you're right. It's the little bit of like the gentlemanly etiquette has kind of fallen a little bit out of the game for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
And it goes to even, but I think like COVID did do this. I believe that it did, that there was never and I still I hammer on this, when you're about to play a round of golf, there should be a little thing that you check off, like just some basic things that if you find a club, pick it up, don't steal it.
Yeah.
Take it to the clubhouse, or somebody's going to come back, look at, that's right.
Yeah.
It's somebody's club.
Those are like basic rules when you're a kid.
Yeah,
like,
that's right.
If that was yours and someone took it, how would you feel?
It never ever crossed my mind.
Right.
But and I've been at the tee box at Loomis, for instance, with the group, a foursome in front of going, is this anybody's 3-iron?
Yeah.
And no. So you guys just leave it here? Like,
Right.
You don't think that, and sure as hell, I pick it up and the guy comes back did anybody see a 3-iron?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have it right
Yeah.
here. Guys.
Yeah. Right.
Did you not?
Yeah. This belongs to someone, probably the group in front of you if you guys are here. Yeah. No.
But it is.
Yeah.
At Shaughnessy, do they make them take a little test before they go out? Probably not.
Everyone, everyone keeps each other honest at Shaughnessy. Whether it's the staff sort of looking after everything or the members, they're not supposed to police each other, but everyone's got an eye on everyone. There's 1,000 full play members, or members that have access to the tee, but everyone kind of knows each other, knows the groups they play in, so no one's going to really get away with very much. I think everyone kind of keeps
Each
everyone
other honest.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. We'll lead up to our close here, but I want to talk about the funniest thing.
Okay.
What's the craziest, funniest, wackiest thing that you've ever seen on a golf course?
Okay, so I survived this, so it's funny. There's a tournament that I play in Vegas every year, Vegas Baby. I played it for 17 years with roughly the same guys, same group of guys. The format is 5 players, so you playing a fivesome. Pros ride by themselves in a power cart, and then my team is riding in a foursome. We're playing Las Vegas Country Club, beautiful old school country club, Rat Pack pictures in there. It's just a gorgeous old Vegas. We're getting ready to tee off. It's a shotgun start. Everybody's getting ready to fire out there. We're starting on 18. It's a par 5, and there's a lot of holes that come up towards the clubhouse. So I was I'd played there before, and I thought to myself, okay, I think it's down this way. And I'm like, guys, follow me. We get out onto the fairway, and everyone's going everywhere as the shotgun's going out in their carts. And I realized that my cart is like Indy fast. Like, it's so fast. It's an electric cart, but something's up. It's going 50 kilometers an hour. It's so fast. I'm like, this is going to be fun today. I go up next to my guys, and I go, wait a minute, I think that's 18 over there on that other fairway. And so we start to drive, and I go past one of my other group of guys, and I go, look at how fast my cart's going. I'm just flying in this thing. If you know anything about fairway bunkers, the lip is usually higher towards the green. So if you're going the wrong way on those holes, you don't see fairway bunkers. So I turn my head back, and I realize that I'm on top of a giant bunker, and I go, Dukes of Hazzard airborne. I'm like in the golf cart in the air. Keep in mind, we're just going out to the hole. Like, nothing's happened yet. I am flying. I felt like I was flying for minutes. I also, like, life flashes before my eyes. The charge on the card flashes before my eyes as I'm about to trash this cart. I fly in the air. I hit the corner of the bunker with the power cart, and it sort of pops up up onto the grass, and I get ejected into the sand trap, like full barrel roll, yard sale, clubs, the ice, my drink that I had is gone. And the cart bounces, and I'm laying in the bunker. And all these carts kind of come over towards me because they see this cart flying in the air, and they wonder, like,
are you drunk?
Let's go see the dead guy. So I get out, I dust myself off. I literally have sand on my face everywhere. My immediate is like, I got to check on the cart. I don't want to have to pay for this. I don't want to have to walk today.
Your credit cards?
Right. So I'm checking the cart. I go around it, and I've been around power carts before. I'm like, this thing is good to go. I'm good. So I get everything back together. We get to the tee. My guys are laughing now. They were terrified that I was going to die.
Yeah.
And they need a pro for this tournament. And so too, and then they're all just howling, laughing. We get to the tee. I'm coursing with adrenaline. I hit driver 350 yards off the tee down the middle. I have like 180 yards in, and I know I'm juiced. So I hit like a 9-iron, and I fly it to the back edge of the green. It's a 80-foot putt up a hill with a snake. I make it for Evo. We have a great day. I play a great round of golf. Don't even think about it. At the end of the day, the guys are cleaning our clubs, and they're like, "How's your day?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's pretty good." I take my bag off, and I go to put it down, and the legs fall off the bag, like the stand had broken. This is the only thing that happened out of that whole thing. But
you are extremely fortunate.
Oh my God! But that story, every year I get back down there, the guys are like, you should check this guy, make sure his cart's not too fast, tell him where bunkers are. So I only say that because everything was fine, but
that's a duty.
So
nothing wrong with the cart.
Nothing wrong.
Didn't damage your body.
No. Legs on the bag. That's the only thing.
Little tiny
bruised ego. Woke up the next day definitely a little bit sore as the adrenaline and alcohol probably wore off, but it was memorable.
That's a great story.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, Tim, I want to shout out what is your social media?
Yeah, Golf Coach Tim, kind of everywhere. So,
Everywhere.
yeah,
Okay, cool.
yeah.
And you're at Shaughnessy, and you have the teaching academy there
That's right.
that
Yeah,
you've got.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank you very much for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
This has
Thanks
been a
for having me.
wonderful conversation
Yeah,
about
thanks.
golf.
Yeah, we could do this forever.
It is,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
why I try and time it, because like I said, I'm
Yeah.
told that I've talked too much.
No.
Shout out to Ken Poirier and RiversideGolf.ca, our sponsors. Without that, this podcast would not be possible. I encourage everyone to subscribe. Check Tim out. This has been fantastic.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much.
Yeah, thank you.